everyone, and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 13-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. We got a big Friday slate, lots of prizes to be won across the industry on both FanDuel and DraftKings, so excited to get into it. Before we do, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. And don't forget to leave that like for the like goal. If we reach 50 likes, next video you will get my Dark Horse Play of the Day. It's my sneaky play of the day. That's going to be low owned that I really like. A new segment that I introduced to reward you guys for showing support. So 50 likes on this video. Next video, you get that Dark Horse Play of the Day. And don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day, which I give out every day. Carlos Correa, unfortunately, not coming through last night. Really like the spot for him. I had him in my lineups for sure. Didn't quite come through for us, unfortunately. I was watching the MLB at Bat App. He had plenty of pitches to work with, kind of right down the middle, and just didn't drive him anywhere. So I think we were on the right track. We're going to get back on track with those home run calls. Stay tuned in the video for that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. If you are interested in some further content from me, I do offer premium content. That's linked below in the description. You get access to all the sheets, all the tools that I use in building my own lineups. And enough of all that promo stuff. Let's get into it. As always, I'd like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. We're going to figure out the top pitchers that we want to play on the slate today. And then we'll get into bats. And the top guy on the slate today is going to be Mr. Tyler Glasnow, taking on the New York Mets. Comes in with a 36.8% K rate overall, a 14.1 swinging strike rate, 36% K rate against righties, and then a 37.7% K rate against lefties. Really good across the board, and is taking on a New York Mets team that hasn't really been too hot out of the gates. It's in Tampa Bay, which is a great pitcher's park. Looking at the chart, pulling up here, a lot of red on the sheet, meaning that's going to be a great pitching environment for Tyler Glasnow. Definitely think that he's going to be, a top priority for us on the slate. Comes in at 10.5 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they're going to price at 10.9 and is a 157 favorite. So definitely top option right off the bat. Second on the list, we got Max Scherzer taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. 34.1% K rate overall, a 15.9 swinging strike rate. That tops Tyler Glasnow. 37.6% K rate against righties, and then a 30.4% K rate against lefties. So the difference really in Scherzer and Glasnow is the ability for Glasnow to strike out left-handed hitters. Scherzer dips down a little bit against those lefties, and he's taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks team tonight that does have quite a few lefties. However, with that being said, it's not exactly the most threatening lineup, and Scherzer comes in as a heavier favorite as well, a 193 favorite tonight. The Diamondbacks only have a 3.56 implied run total, so you can make an argument that Scherzer's just as great of a play, if not a better play tonight. So you got to like Scherzer. Moving further along, Clayton Kershaw taking on the Miami Marlins, arguably the best matchup that we've discussed so far, taking on this Marlins team that has been striking out quite frequently. 26.9% K overall, 13.3 swinging strike rate, 27.4% K rate against righties, and a 25.3% K rate against lefties. Good in the ground ball, the fly ball, all that stuff. And then, as mentioned, the opponent, pretty friendly matchup here tonight, taking on these Miami Marlins. Comes in with it as a 213 favorite. It's in Dodger Stadium. 11K on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they got them priced at 10K. So he's up there as well on our options today. And then once you get past those guys, things take a big dip down. Vince Velasquez taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Not all too interested in playing him. You got Musgrove taking on the Cardinals. Drew Smyly taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. This is the next guy as far as matchups concerned. Drew Smyly's been really bad over the last few years. 25% K rate, but he has given up a ton of hard contact to both sides of the plate. Has looked a little bit better this year, and if there was ever a time to play him, this would be the matchup to do so. So, I wouldn't call you crazy taking on this Milwaukee Brewers squad. He is a 120 favorite, and the Brewers only have a 3.89 implied run total. So Vegas is telling us they kind of like him here. He's only at 6.8 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they got him priced at 7.6. So I think that Drew Smyly is an interesting tournament play. There's certain teams that we've just been targeting all year long, and Milwaukee's one of them. They just strike out so much. Not exactly the most threatening lineup. I have no issues with you going to him tonight. Joe Musgrove, I don't want to just completely skip over because the guy's got good stuff across the board. 25.6% K rate overall, 11.9 swing strike rate, or 12.9 swing strike rate, sorry. 27.2% K rate against righties, and then a 24.2% K rate against lefties. Good in the ground ball, fly ball, all that stuff. He's taking on a Cardinal squad tonight that doesn't strike out the most. But he's got really good stuff. So he's up there, kind of with the Kershaws and the Scherzers and all that stuff as far as, I'd say he's the next tier down. But as far as talent-wise and stuff, the guy's got a bunch of talent. He's priced at 8K on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they get him priced at 8.7. And a viable option, he comes in as a 177 favorite, so you'll be looking at him for sure. I mentioned Drew Smyly taking on Milwaukee. These guys in this next range, I'm not really looking to play any of them, to be honest. It's kind of scary. Zach Greinke taking on Texas is the next guy I'd be looking to. Texas is also a team we've been targeting all year. They strike out a ton. Zach Greinke's a very good real-life pitcher. The problem is he just doesn't really get a lot of strikeouts as far as fantasy is concerned. So when we get him in a matchup like this, taking on this Texas team that strikes out so much, it could be enough to give him a boost up to make him a viable play, because he's going to be around the plate all game long. He's good at inducing ground balls. He just doesn't really get those strikeouts, but he's really good against lefties as well. If you take a look at the sheet, 23.9% Q overall against lefties. The ground ball, the fly ball, the slugging is all really good. So that kind of checks all the boxes as far as what you need for talent taking on this Texas team. All their power hitters are left-handed. There's no walks to be had with Greinke, really. He's good at pounding the plate, and these guys strike out a lot. So it could be a recipe for success for Zach Greinke. He's only 7.5 on FanDuel over on DraftKings. They got him priced at 9.5. So on FanDuel specifically, he's at a very discounted price, and I like that a lot. Has given up 4, 3, and 4 earned runs the last 3 times out. Has looked a little rough, but if there was ever a matchup to bounce back, this is the one. So no issues with going to him. David Peterson taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. 22.7% K overall, 21.2% K rate against righties, and then a 29% K rate against lefties. And this Tampa Bay Rays team has been really bad against lefties, have been striking out a ton. I do have a little bit of bias with David Peterson because he's helped me take on multiple tournaments this year early on in the season. So full disclaimer there, but I genuinely think this is a good spot. He's going to in Tampa Bay. It's a great pitching environment, as mentioned in the Trop. A lot of red here on the sheet. Not exactly the best hitting environment. And he's only 6.6 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they got him priced at 7.4. And it's really just the matchup. Like, the guy has decent stuff across the board. Nothing that's going to blow you away. He has a little bit of a walk issue, but the ground ball, fly ball stuff's all respectable. The strikeout rate's respectable. And if you can keep the ball in the zone against this Tampa team that's been really, really bad against left-handed pitching, I have no issues with going to him tonight. So I'm going to like him. And then that's when things kind of get a little dried up here. If I had to go to one more guy, it'd probably be Jake Arrieta taking on the Detroit Tigers, or Aaron Savali taking on the Seattle Mariners. Both matchup reliant. 20.5% K overall for Savali, 19.5% K rate against righties, and then a 21.7% K rate against lefties. Solid across the board. The ground ball, fly ball stuff's good, and the Seattle team strikes out a lot. And then the same rule is going to apply for Arrieta. Not the highest strikeout rate, but the ground ball, fly ball stuff respectable against righties. He does really, really struggle against left-handed hitting. That's his only issue, and the strikeouts dip down a lot against those lefties. And the Tigers do have quite a few lefties in there, but the thing is, their strikeout rate's so high. They only have 3.9 implied run total. It's in Detroit. Looks like it's going to be like 67 degrees. Decent pitching weather, not the greatest, but I think Arrieta could pay off for you based strictly upon the matchup. And yeah, that's kind of my overall breakdown for pitching. Let's get in the bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, skill interactive ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been in the past and how good they're expected to be. And the worst pitcher on the slate tonight is going to be Chris Flexen taking on the Cleveland Indians. Ground ball, fly ball, all that stuff is bad. It's 431 slugging to right-handed hitting and the 429 slugging to lefties. Not going to get the job done. And when you're looking at this Cleveland lineup tonight, the game's going to be played in Seattle, which isn't the best. And the Cleveland's not the best lineup either. They only have a 3.91 implied run total, which really isn't very impressive when you're taking account that they're taking on Chris Flexen. That's quite sad, actually. But if there was ever time to get them low on, tonight would be the night. So I just want to point them out as a stack. Not exactly the most exciting. You got Johan Oviedo taking on the San Diego Padres. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's all been pretty bad. He's given up a 492 slugging to righties, a 380 slugging to lefties. Has been pretty bad against those right-handed hitters. And when breaking down what the San Diego Padres are expected to roll out for a lineup tonight, you got Manny Machado, Tommy Pham. Those two guys really are the only thing. And the problem with the Padres is, Tatis went on the IL. There's no Will Myers now, COVID-19. So tough to be stacking up those Padres, if I'm going to be honest. Like the bottom two guys there. somewhat of a hard time going to. Sandy Alcantara taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers, a guy that I don't really like to target right-handed bats against, but a guy that I love targeting left-handed bats against. Has some serious splits issues, so the Dodgers lefties are going to be good plays tonight. Corey Seager, Max Muncy, Matthew Beattie, Gavin Lux. No issues with going to them as a stack. I had mentioned playing Arrieta against Detroit, but you can also target Arrieta with those left-handed bats. If you want to go ahead and target this Detroit Tigers offense, I wouldn't call you crazy, honestly. They're not the most elite offense in the world, but they do have quite a few lefties in there, and Arrieta has his issues against left-handed bats. So it's going to be a low and stacked. He gives up 5'11 slugging, a 372 WOBA against those left-handed bats. And guys like Robbie Grossman, Harold Castro, Heimer Candelario, Nomar Mazara, Nico Goodrum, Willie Castro, up and down the order. Especially because the top of the lineup's all like switch hitters or lefties. So if they get to them early, you get the top of the lineup, they're going to get their bats back through the... Once they go through the lineup again, they're going to get more at-bats in the bottom of the lineup, of course, and then they're probably going to be low. No one really likes playing the Tigers, so I think that's not the worst idea in the world. Nick Pivetta taking on the Los Angeles Angels, another situation where we could target Pivetta, but the lineup's just been terrible. The Angels have a very washed-up lineup. They have a 4.57 implied run total, which is probably the best they've had in quite some time now. And, guys like Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, and Jared Walsh all have a bunch of talent. You got Justin up in the middle, but then once you get past them, the lineup gets real bad real quick. So if I'm stacking up this team, I'm going to have to go with those core guys, honestly. I'm not really looking to go to anyone else, and you're going to have to hope those guys at the bottom of the lineup do enough to roll the lineup back over and get you, as many at-bats as you can get out of guys like Ohtani, Trout, Walsh. But Pivetta gives up a ton of slugging to both sides, a 470 slugging to righties, a 475 slugging to lefties. Definitely a great spot for the Angels. It's just a matter of the lineup. And if I'm stacking up that team, Ohtani, Trout, Walsh, Upton, as mentioned, those guys can all rake, so no issues with you going to them whatsoever. Wes Benjamin taking on the Houston Astros. 28 innings pitch sample size has been very bad. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Gives up a 442 slugging to righties. Only a 364 slugging to lefties, however. So really looking to target the right-handed Houston bats. And Houston, which I always tell you guys, is a pretty good ballpark for those right-handed hitters that like to pull the ball down the left field line. Looking at the diagram here. Houston... left field line, if you watch my content for a while, you know this, but it's 315 down the left field line, short porch. You can definitely take advantage of that with these Houston Astros hitters tonight in this particular matchup, taking on Wes Benjamin, who is a left-handed hurler, and these Astros definitely have some guys that can crush left-handed pitching. Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Yulieski Gurriel, Carlos Correa, Chas McCormick's shown a lot of power, Martín Maldonado at the bottom of the order, round out your stacks. But, you got to love Altuve, Bregman, Gurriel, Correa, those four guys, those right-handed hitters that can really mash lefties. No issues with you going to that stack tonight. Tariq Skubal taking on the Chicago Cubs has been a guy we've been targeting all season long. If you look at his stats across the board, they're really, really bad. The ground ball, the fly ball stuff, the hard contact. He gives up a 635 slugging to righties with a 405 WOBA, 59.3% fly ball rate. The ball's constantly being hit in the air, and it's constantly being hit hard. And the Chicago Cubs are definitely going to be a viable stack tonight. They're in Detroit on the road, so they're going to get the guaranteed at-bats in the ninth inning, and they have some guys that can crush lefties. Matt Duffy, Wilson Contreras, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, David Bode. All those guys are going to be top priorities for me. Unfortunately, outside of those guys, I'm not really all too interested in anyone, so it's going to be those righties that really mash, but definitely have interest in them. And then once we get past them, it's Dean Kremer taking on the New York Yankees. I'm going to like the Yankees tonight for sure. Looking at Kremer's numbers across the board, ground ball, fly ball, hard contact stuff's all really bad. Gives up a 475 slugging to righties and a 453 slugging to lefties. That's scary bad. He's actually a lot better against left-handed bats as far as the K rate's concerned. And that's going to be a problem for him because the New York Yankees are a very right-handed heavy lineup. Looking up and down, they got guys like DJ LeMahieu, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Gio Urshela, Luke Voit, Gary Sanchez, like all right-handed hitters. Brett Gardner and Aaron Hicks might be in the lineup. That mixes in a few lefties, but that's about it. 74 degrees in Camden Yards in Baltimore. Great hitting environment, pulling out the park for you guys. Great ballpark for home runs. We're targeting the Bronx Bombers. We're always looking for those home runs out of them, so definitely going to like these Yankees bats tonight. They have a 5.23 implied run total on the road. They get that guaranteed ninth inning. The Baltimore Orioles bullpen does not scare me. So I like the New York Yankees. Once we get past them, this Philadelphia-Toronto game, Steven Matz taking on Vince Velasquez. If you look at the run total right now, it looks like it's a scary high, a 10.5 implied run total. It looks like they're going to be 19-mile-an-hour winds blowing out in Toronto, which is not actually in Toronto, if you remember. They're playing at that Florida field right now because of the COVID protocols, so they can't play in Toronto right now. So it's a great hitting environment. It's a minor league stadium, and there's going to be 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. So this is like hitter's paradise for major league hitters. Like this could be home run derby mode. And when you're looking at both these guys' stats, Steven Matz first, hard contact across the board is really bad. Fly ball, all that crap, all that stuff. A 494 slugging to righties, 458 slugging against lefties. Left-handed pitcher, we really prefer to target him with right-handed bats, of course. And the Philadelphia Phillies have some great bats against left-handed pitching. Andrew McCutchen, Gene Segura, Rhys Hoskins, Alec Boehm. And then Scott Kingery possibly at the bottom of the order. He hasn't really been cracking the lineup, but if he does, I have no issues with going to him. He's got some power and speed. He strikes out a bunch, but he's the bottom of the order, and he's a salary relief guy. And then on the Toronto side, you got Vince Velasquez, who's same thing. Hard contact, giving up a ton of hard contact. 42.6% hard contact against righties, and then a 40.5% hard contact against lefties. 474 slugging given up to those left-handed bats, and a 490 slugging given up to righties. Going to be a great spot for these Toronto Blue Jays, and they have a bunch of power up and down the lineup. Marcus Semien, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Teoscar Hernandez, Randall Grichuk, Cavan Biggio, Lourdes Gurriel, Rowdy Tellez. Like, legitimately would play every single bat in this lineup. It's that good. And Danny Jansen at the bottom of the order is a guy that you could argue is the guy you don't want to play usually, and he's been really hot lately. So, great spot in that Florida ballpark tonight with the wind blowing out. It's already a minor league environment as is. And then you add in the wind, and it's going to be a scary good spot for these guys. So, wanted to bring that up. And then the one last thing I'd bring up before I get into my home run call is Griffin Canning taking on the Boston Red Sox. Is a very reverse splitsy pitcher. Gives up a lot of hard contact, and most notably against right-handed hitting, a 480 slugging given up to righties, a 339 WOBA. Against lefties, it dips down to a 408 slugging. Still not the greatest against lefties, but right-handed hitting specifically, he's been really bad, and that's going to make us have some interesting guys like JD Martinez and Xander Bogaerts. And then, of course, you can always play Alex Verdugo, Rafael Devers round out your stacks, and the rest of the Red Sox lineup, Marwin Gonzalez, Christian Vasquez, Hunter Renfroe. Red Sox are a very stackable team. They have talent up and down the lineup. And, yeah, that's what I would be looking to tonight for sure, guys. And that's all the games I have to go over. Before I let you guys go, I gotta give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. taking on Vince Velasquez, giving up a ton of hard contact, 41.7% hard contact rate against righties. He gives up a 42.6% hard contact rate, a 490 slugging with a 346 WOBA. The ground ball, fly ball stuff is terrible as well, a 46.6% fly ball rate. Going to be an issue when you're taking on a guy with the power like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And then when you factor in that's going to be in this temporary stadium in Florida with those 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, like I had mentioned, 80 degrees tonight, going to be great hitting weather. Vladdy has been raking all season long, and I expect it to continue tonight. A 5.7 implied run total for the Toronto Blue Jays. On average, Vince Velasquez is very reliant on the fastball, 92 to 94 mile-an-hour fastball on average, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. crushes that pitch. A 289 ISO with a 477 WOBA, 55.88% hard contact rate. Love the spot for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Vladdy Jr., get him in your lineups, and that is all for me in this one. If you'd enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. If we get that 50 like goal, next video I will be giving you guys that dark horse play of the day. My favorite low-owned sneaky play. Excited for that new segment. Thank you for all the support so far. Channel continues to grow, so I appreciate it. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.